you do DMT, you will talk with intelligent beings in another dimension. I mean, for real. This sounds like totally crazy, but it's been described as like having a meeting with God, having a meeting with like totally unbelievably wise beings that are incredibly loving, and you're like in this other dimension with them. And the whole thing is that it leaves you with this feeling of being incredibly humble, and it changes you. You look the same on the outside, but inside you're totally different. And to me, to think that most people in the world never had this experience is an incredible waste of time. Because life could be so much more positive and fascinating and interesting if we all knew what this reality was like. And I tell you, it would make us a lot more humble and also a lot more aware if we did this. It's like you remove your ego temporarily and you see like through newborn's eyes. And what's fascinating is DMT lives inside of us. And when we're born, we have a DMT experience. Also, when we actually die, physical death, we have a DMT experience. But here's the good news. We don't need to die, and we don't need to take an illegal drug to have a DMT experience. In fact, science now tells us that you can activate DMT through sex. Now, most people don't know this, and most people don't have this experience, but it is thought that in ancient times, they knew that sex can cause the same kind of altered state you have when you're physically dying. In fact, in France, the word for orgasm is le petit mort, which means the little death. Because in ancient times in France, it's believed, they absolutely knew that sex could bring you into this altered state of awareness that you have when you're physically dying. So, and now science has actually given us the biochemistry of that. So what is the point here? The point here is that in the world today, sex is talked about all the time in the news, but it's usually about allegations and abuse and exploitation, and that's a valid conversation. But what nobody's talking about is the science about what sex could be and what we possibly knew in other times. So I invite you to go to rethinksex.org and be a part of a new conversation about sex.